What is everybody? It's your boy Luis, aka at Big Chief Burrito, also known as the Shady Commish. And I'm here to talk about the week 6 fantasy burritos. The week belonged to people off the street, as you could have gotten Rico Dowdle, Matthew Stafford to get you 100 points combined, like I did in one of my leagues. I went a combined 8-0 this week, but I am 1-4 in the ESPN 323 league, but I am going to make my way back and win that league after starting 0-4. Here's some players that might be available depending on the leagues you have. Obviously, you guys are like, oh, of course, Rico Dowdle's taken. Of course, Michael Carter's taken, but you should always check to see those players to make sure that somebody hasn't forgotten about you. I told you last week to check for Stefan Diggs. I told you to get Woody Marks on your team, even though last week he had a little bit of a regression. I still think Woody Marks is a good ad. You could also try to find him for somebody that picked him up and got disappointed by him this week and try to trade for him. I think he's still a worthwhile target. Obviously, check for wide receivers like Romeo Dobbs, who's going to be off a bye week. That might be somebody that's still out there. Kendrick Byrne, for the people that didn't pick him up, he played Thursday, so he might go on waivers early this week, so you can check for him. If you're desperate and if you're in a league that does return yards, Luke McCaffrey, Washington, and Isaac Teslov from Detroit. He's been steady getting more work in the last couple of weeks. The tight end, as I told you, if you didn't get Bowers, if you didn't get Kittle, if you didn't get the top 3 tight ends, I told you it was going to be a streaming year for tight ends. Every week, a different tight end does a good job. 2 weeks ago, it was Pitts. Last week and this week, the Walrus came back. You still got people out on the waiver wire that are getting points every week. So you are allowed to stream tight ends, especially in the 10-team league this week. You got Theo Johnson and Mason Taylor, both of the New York tight ends. Dart went to Johnson a bunch of times. Justin Fields went to Mason Taylor a bunch of times towards the end of the game. So those are 2 streamable tight ends that you can get. Defense streaming, Green Bay. People might have dropped them last week because they needed a roster spot if they were on a bye, especially if they're streaming defenses. So check them out on your waiver wire. Pick them up. They're one of the best defenses in football, so definitely good. As far as quarterbacks, you got your ex-Jets and your current Jets. You got your Sam Darnolds and your Justin Fields. I wouldn't worry about picking up Mac Jones or the Rattler or anybody else like that unless you're in a 2 QB league. But I would try to make sure that either Sam Darnold or Justin Fields or even Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford was on the bench on the street last week, and I picked him up, and he got me 40. He's somebody that you can pick up and play if you have the bye weeks. Also, remember when you're targeting people in trades this week, look for little incremental pieces of little upgrades that you can get. So, for example, if you're trading for somebody that already had their bye week and you're giving up a better player, but your player's bye week is not coming up to like week 7 or 8, then you're getting an additional bucket of points there because you are bypassing the bye week. So keep that in mind when you're pushing for trades and when you're about to accept trades. What are you getting bye week? What's it setting up for you in the next couple of weeks? Justin Fields, Sam Darnold's running backs, Michael Carter, obviously check. Kendre Miller, there's still rumors that Alvin Kamara might get traded, so Kendre Miller is a definite stasher if they start to ease him out. Alvin Kamara is still a keep for me because even if he gets traded, he's going to put up points. Kenneth Gainwell, again, off a bye, off of a big performance if he's still out there. And then your deep stash, you got your Hassan Haskins, somebody like that. Brashard from the Kansas City Chiefs, that's also out there. That's, deep 12, 14-team leagues, deep stash that you can find out there. I already told you about the wide receivers. I already told you about the tight ends, streaming defenses, and QBs. So good luck out there, and this has been your Fantasy Burritos.